Hello everyone, welcome to my webinar today on the pivot solution, which you call my Cap app. Okay, so I'm just going to go through as an assessor how you would use the system. So what I'm first of all going to do is just show you the learner login side, just so you can get a feel of what the learner kind of sees. Now I'm not using your live site obviously because I don't want to kind of use live learners. So I've got a demo site that I'm using, which you can kind of can see from here. So basically what will happen is the learner would get a username and login for the system, and they would just log in. Now I know it's not a qualification that you kind of deliver, but just for example. So this is what the learner sees, okay? So obviously it'd be branded Kaplan, okay? So what they would do is they've got my program on the left-hand side panel. They've got a calendar, which to be honest with you doesn't do that much. It kind of just shows you the calendar, okay? And then what you've got is it's a link to functional skills. I'm not sure. You've got messages, which they can launch messages and send a message to their assessor. Okay, and then what we've got is a forum and then some resources as well. You don't have the filtered bit. But anyway, the main thing they need to concentrate on is my program. Okay, on the left-hand side is some shortcuts to these, but so they can just use these. But if they go to launch my program, what they will get is all the programs they currently deliver. Okay, so on this one, this is a customer service one. I know that you've got slightly different ones, but you've got an induction, which if they click on the induction, it shows their introduction, their ILP, some safeguarding, some prevent things. But if they go into the main qualification, which is, in this particular occasion, is a customer service practitioner. So what they got is they click on there, that will give them all the separate tasks which are kind of built into your system already. Okay, so you can see all these tasks, these are the headings, and these are the individual tasks they have to work through. Okay. So just to go through the color coding, what they've got is green is completed, purple is returned, orange is submitted, blue is in progress, orange is overdue, and grey is not started. Okay, so as you can see, I've got some here, grey not started. So if I click into the grey not started, okay, so task is currently in progress. So what the learner would do is kind of read through all the content, work through this system, they'd watch the videos, and then what they'll have is maybe questions or some worksheets to work through. So what the learner would do is kind of just work through these, as so to say. So this is all pre-built by yourself already, so by Kaplan already. So what you would do is give reasons, there's multiple choice and then reasoning behind it. Okay, case study 2, you've got this as well, and so forth. They can work through the questions. The data automatically saves as they go. Okay, so you can see a little this by here, it just shows them that this working. And then what happens is when they've actually got to the part where they're at the point where they finish, they want to submit it to their assessor, they submit task for review. Okay, it gives them an option to obviously do a short, and you press OK, and now that task goes into a submitted state. Okay, so the color of that one will then go to orange. Okay, orange. So that's all the learner kind of does, is work through the tasks, and then once they've answered all their questions or they feel it's ready, they click submit. So that's what the learner has to do. So fairly straightforward from the learner's point of view. It's quite good that you experience what the learner's experience is, just so that you can have a little look. Now, there is demo logins that are set up where you can have a look at this content. So if anyone wants it, just drop me an email and I'll kind of send that through to you. Okay, so that's the kind of learner. It's really important that you see that. What they get then is obviously on their pass, you've got practitioners here, you've got 600 messages, 1 task returned, 1 task overdue. So task returned is that the assessor talent coaches has returned it back to the learner to do more work. And then the overdue is simply, if I click on overdue, it will give me my 1 overdue unit. Okay, if I go to the task returned, it will give me my task returned. And then it'll just show you what's been returned. Okay. So just says complete more work. Okay. So more work required. Obviously, you'd expect more wording into there. Okay. So that's what the learner kind of sees. So fairly straightforward. They get quite a nice screen as well, if I'm honest. They get quite a nice view. They can take the tutorial tour as well of how to use the system. But anyway, what the assessors then what you talent coaches have to log into. Okay, so I've got I'm using a demo account. Okay, so then I'm just going to show you now of how to use the ePortfolio side of the system. So this is what you get when you log in. Okay, so the first things you have to do as an assessor. So I'm just going to go right from the beginning how to use the system. So top left hand side there's an avatar. So if I click on the avatar, what you get is an extra menu, an extra sub menu system. So what we've got is learners. So if I click on the learners, that will give me my active caseload. Okay, at the moment it's set to assess and verify, and WBR. WBR is work-based recorder, so that's like someone who's like an expert witness. But if I click on assess, that will just give me learners I assess. If I click on verify, it will just give me learners that I verify, and that isn't any. Okay, but if I just click on assess, that will give me just learners I assess. And then what you can do is you can click on any of them, and then I'll take you directly into their learner portfolio. Okay, so what else we got then is an avatar. So the avatar is a place where you can upload your own photo. So what you can do is obviously choose file and put a photo of yourself up there, or somebody else maybe. Then what you've got is password. So you can change your password. So say your network password expires every so often. What you can do is click password, put your current password in, and put your new password in. So then really important, and this is probably the most important part for me, is your notifications. So in the notifications, in your email address, you put your email address in. So I'll put mine in for now, simon.berry@cityandguilds.com. Okay. Now, what you can do is select to receive messages when something happens in Learn Assistant. So my advice would be set it to daily, because if you set it to per message, every time something happens, you get an email. So if 10 things happen in the system on that day, you'll get 10 emails, which could be a bit overkill. So if you set it to daily, and then you just set it to all these to yes. So when a candidate submits their work in their learner system, and then daily. So when a candidate carries out some work and submits it to you, you will get an email to say they've submitted it. Also, what happens is if an IQA carries out some IQA in, they will also get you notifications. But what it'll do, if you set it to daily, it'll come out at the end of the day. So I'm talking probably later at night, we'll come up with an overarching summary email saying these 4 learners have submitted work, these 3 learners have had an IQA on it, or so forth. And then you can go in the next day and then log in and see them learners, and then obviously carry out your assessment or your decisions or your feedback. Okay, so that's really important because that just gives you the extra bit to log in. And then if you go into preferences, so the preferences, this is just per preferences per person, so you can all set these differently. The major one for me is you can group it by course or group it by learner. If you group it by course, the course section then it will list all the courses, and it'll list the course with all the learners, course with all the learners. Group by learner, it'll be learner name and all their courses, learner name and all their courses. So if you group it by course, the learner might appear in more than one list. If you group it by learner, the learner will only appear once, and then with all their courses. So that just depends on how you want to view it. Okay, some extra bits you can set here, but you can just set that in your own kind of space. Then what we got is there, and then we've got a log out button. So what you can do is obviously when you're not in the system, you should be logging out. Okay, so then what you've got is your home page. Okay, so the home page. What we've got first of all is anything in here, your waiting review, is work that's been submitted by the candidate. Okay, so what will happen is when that candidate has submitted work into in their page here, okay, so when they've submitted it here, it automatically pushes through to your page here. So what will happen is, so this demo learner have submitted this to me on that particular day. Okay, so they've submitted 3 or 4 things to me on that day. So it will sit in here until you go in and carry out some assessment, which I'll show you now in a bit. What we've also got is verify referrals. So we'll sit in here as well. So any referrals you get from your IQA will sit in here as well until you action them. Okay, so and until you action them, and then you've got overdue work. So if a learner has been given work to do by yesterday, for example, when you log into the system today, they will appear in here as overdue. Okay. Then we've got the messages. So if a learner sends you a message, if you click on the messages, it will take you to the different system, but it will show you this when you get in there. Okay. Then appointments calendar. You can set appointments within the system. However, the learner won't see them. The learner won't see them appointments. Okay, so you can set them just for yourself to know that when you're going to see that learner, but it won't actually advise the learner of when you come in. But it could be more of your own kind of appointment for yourself, and this will just give you this check. Resources as well. There is a Pivot Learn site, so which will give you how to use the system. I'm obviously doing this today, so that will give you that today. So you don't really maybe need to use that, but it is there if you need to. Okay, so that's kind of your assessor homepage. So the most important bit is setting up your avatar. Then your assessor tasks are kind of your outstanding work, and you've got your messages, which are messages the learner might have sent you. Okay, so that's in there. So then what we got, I'll come back to the learners menu because we'll go do a bit into there, but the appointments, as I said, you can set appointments. This just gives you a link to your calendar. So in this appointment section, what you can do is see your calendar. Unfortunately, we can't link it with your Outlook calendars, okay? But what we can do is export it out, and then you can import it into your calendar if you want to. But if you set appointments in the system, it's just for you as a coach, talent coach, rather than for the learner, okay? So again, we have a forum section as well. So you can post some posts and threads in the forum, but this is more for you as coaches to share best practice, I suppose. So your PDR section. Okay, so your PDRs. What's your PDR? Your PDR is your professional development record. So when you're an assessor or a coach, in your case, you might have to keep yourself up to date with occupational competencies. So you attend standardization meetings and you keep up to date with the latest qualifications. This is where you can keep an electronic record. So what you can do is click on New Entry. And then what you can do is in here, put in description of what you did, some actions, some reflection notes. Obviously you can insert images and links and whatnot. Okay, so you can say how long that lasted. So an hour, whatever. Activity date, when it was, you can backdate it as well. Okay, so then what you can do is click submit. Once you've submitted the entry into there, what you can then do is upload and attach a document. So if you're doing your qualifications or you're doing a training you've attended, you can attach minutes and things like that. Okay, so what that'll give you is just your complete PDR record. So if I click return to PDR, it will give you a running total of what you've got all together. Okay, just showing that you're keeping up to date with everything. Sampling summary. Sampling summary is for IQAs. So we'll do a separate session for IQAs, and only IQAs get this menu, and this is where you can carry out IQA in. So the messages is another link to the message center where you can show messages. So it's the same as your home page really. So then what we've got is the learners menu. So in the learners menu, this is where you can search for your caseload as well. So as you remember earlier, I kind of had that tab to go onto. So I went on the avatar and then clicked the learners tab. But what I've got here is just a bit more searchable items. So I can search for a particular course, people at obviously a particular company. I can search for an active or completed learner. So you might want to look at a completed learner, or you can just put a learner's name in. Okay. Equally, if you don't do anything and just click search, that'll just give you your whole caseload. So what we got is this will show the learner's name, and then you've got the next learner's name and so forth. So learner's name, it tells me what course they're doing. These are all the units they're currently working on. So there is a color coding system as well, a bit like the one the learner sees. So grey is not started, blue is started, anything goes green is completed, pink is verified, and orange is referred. But no need, you haven't got to remember that. The key status is just by here as well, at the top by here. Okay. So what you can do is, obviously that gives you just a snapshot of how you're getting on. What you've then got is your progression bars. So you've got expected progression, which is showing 46% for this learner. The reason it's showing 46% is because the learner started on the 22nd of September 2017, due to finish on the 1st of March 2019. And because we're in 2018 of May, it works it out by time. So it works out that they should be 46% the way through. You then get a started progression and a completed progression. So the started progression works on when the learner uploads and submits work to you, so a more holistic approach. And the completed is when the assessor signs the unit off as of accepting that unit. Okay, we've got some bars here. So this is a comment box where you can make a comment about a learner. Okay, so you can make a comment about a learner, maybe about their learning needs or learning styles, things like that, where the assessor and the IQA got access to view that. Okay, what this will give you is the amount of evidence upload since you last viewed this learner. So in there it might show 2 or 3 or so forth. In here, it will go how many diary entries, so how many assessment feedbacks you've done since you last visited the portfolio. And in there is just your learner journey. Okay, so if I click into this learner, it does give me more chance for some extra options. This is their whole portfolio now, so you can see that demo assessor is the assessor and Kineo verifier is a verifier. Okay, so these are the bars here. Okay, so what you've got, these are not kind of needed up here. We have got assessor declaration. So when they're completed, you can sign a declaration to say that it's all completed, and I accept that it's ready for it to be sent off. Okay, so then what we've got is the course folder. So the course folder is all the tasks that the learner sees and they work through. Okay, so these have all been built in and they work through them. So a bit like what the learner sees, but you just see it like this. Okay, so you can go into each individual one and see what work they've submitted. The evidence folder is where all the work that the learners are submitted to you. So these are like these HTMLs here. These are what the learner submitted via their system. But what you can do is upload supplementary evidence like discussions, observations, for example. Now to do this, we click Evidence Wizard. Okay, so you can click create observation if you want to, but you just like free format would type into a document then. What I'm guessing is you probably would already have them sheets done, or it could be a recording or something like that. So at this point you would click upload evidence. You would click browse files. And then what you would do is you would go to the recording. So I'm not going to use that because I think that's quite a big file. Yeah, it is. So I'll just attach any kind of document at the moment. Book one. Okay, so then what you do is attach that. The system will take any type of file, so it'll be an Excel file, a Word file, or anything, or an audio, or a video or anything at all. So you can attach that. You can attach more than one piece of evidence as well. So you can attach a second one. So let's just go to the top there, and I'll attach a PDF file this time. So you can attach more than one file to go with this piece of evidence. So they will just then go. What you can do then is in Details tab is the title of the document would be default, but you could put professional discussion on health and safety. For example, and then in the type, you would then select what type of evidence is. So this case, it probably would be professional discussion, but you can also do questioning, observation, anything else as well. And then in the cross-reference tab, you just match it to the units that you're doing it with. So if I just click leading people, for example, I click into there and I'm matching against that. So that's me just uploading my supplementary evidence against that portfolio. Okay, so that's my professional discussion, and that just shows that that's been used against 304.1, and it's in there. That shows there's two files there. So if I click on it, I can open any which one I want. Okay, and that just shows that's been uploaded. So that's how you do additional piece of evidence. You've then got a registration tab. So the registration tab is where all the learner details are held. So things like address, home. So if these are all stored, they're all in here. The phone number. What you've also got is national insurance number, awarding body learning number, and registration number. Okay. There is some extra information here as well, where you've got funding body and things like that. You've also got if they've worked on previous qualifications. They've also got preferred name on certificate, and then you've got is your line manager details as well. Okay, so they're all built into the system. Then what we've got is the contact diary. So the contact diary is a place for you where you can really put any additional evidence about the learner, any sort of extra learning you've done. What happens when you actually assess a piece of work, which we'll go into in a minute, it automatically populates in here. But say, for example, a learner wasn't doing the work, wasn't kind of doing what they should be doing. What you can do is click create entry. Okay, then another box will pop up. You can make a couple of different entry levels. So a couple of different things here, but I'd make a general label. Sorry. And then in the description, met with John and he hasn't completed any work. Pointed out the importance of this qualification and the need to meet deadlines. Okay, so what you can do then is just click save. Okay, you can attach any extra evidence as well to this if you want to, just if there is any extra evidence. But this will make it just a general comment about the learner where you have like maybe pointed out where they've asked to meet everything, or it could just be where you've provided some extra learning for the learner and you're just recording it in the system. So things will be automatically stored in here, and I'll show that in a minute. But what you can also do is make your own entries into here to give other people the picture of what's happened in the qualification. So then what we've got is the course metrics. So the course metrics is the ability to record off the job and on the job hours, off the job hours. So very important for some standards that we have to record 20% off the job. Okay, so to do this in the contact diary, we would create an entry. So as I just showed you, general. So John attended in-house course on customer feedback. So in feedback you can put attended all day, or whatever you want to put obviously in these, you know, I'm just obviously putting different things in. And then by here you would record the amount of hours. So let's say 6 hours, because that's what they did. So you click save. So that's recording 6 hours, and it's just putting some detail. I'd expect you to put more detail in here, but obviously for the purposes of today, I've kept it very simple. So that would record into the contact diary that I've done that. But into the course metrics gives you an overview of all your different recordings. So as you can see, I just recorded 6 hours there. I've recorded 4 hours previously, so that gives me a total of 10. So that just gives you the total of each one. You can view each one individually as well, but that just gives you the running total of how many different off-the-job stuff you've done as well. Finally, the journey tab. So the journey tab is where you would give all the information about the learner. So basically, it's how many units they've got how many times they've logged in. Okay, so it does give you that detail now. It didn't before, and it does now. So it shows this learner has logged 3 times in May. So how they interacting with the system, and it gives you a breakdown of all the different evidence types used and who's uploaded the work. Assessor has uploaded 2, 4 by the learner. So that's quite good. I'd be pleased with that. Then it just gives you a link to all the contact diary stuff as well. Okay, so that's all the menus that you've got access to for all these learners. So I hope that makes sense. Like I said, if you've got any questions, we're going to do a Q&A session next Wednesday, so that's fine. But just back to your homepage. What we've got is, so when I've logged in as assessor, you can see that somebody has submitted the demo ABS have obviously submitted work to me. If I click on to this element title, the unit title, it will take me directly into where they've submitted the work. Okay, so what you've got is, that didn't work, sorry. So if I click into, sorry, I don't think that one went through properly. Yeah, so what you've got is cross-team working. I've clicked into the unit, and then what you've got is this evidence that they've submitted to you via their system. So if I click onto there, it will open up. And then I can click open. Obviously, once you've done this a few times, it should just allow it automatically. Okay, and then what you've got is, I mean, on this one, it's just only one question. So what you've got is, I've just tapped in answer 1, 2, 3. You'd expect them obviously to do more, but you would check this and make sure it is correct and right. So once you've checked that, then what you would then do is you have 2 options now as a coach. You can accept it or you can return it. So the status of the unit is showing task submitted and awaiting review. So if I click return, that will return it back to the learner and say, please complete go over question 4 again, please complete this case study again, it isn't quite fit for purpose, or you can click accept. Okay, both buttons will both formula a contact diary, but if you accept it, it would sign that task off and go to green completed. If you return it, it would push back to the learner and give them that feedback. So on this one, I'll click accept. So as you can see, it comes up as assessment feedback automatically. The accepted is complete comes up automatically. And then in the feedback is where you would give your feedback. Well done, excellent. Obviously, I would still expect you to be a little bit more thorough. Okay, you can again record anything in there if you want to. So I click save. And then close. That will then sign that unit off as complete. The learner would then see that you've signed it off. But if I go back to the course now, cross team working, T2, cross team working. Managing people, building relationships, cross team working, there we go. So that is now got a green ticket and it shows reviewed and accepted on the 23rd of May by demo assessor. So once the learner then completes the other tasks, the whole unit would then go green once you've signed it all off. Okay, so only that one bit has gone green. So if I just go back to my home page, okay, and I'll go into this particular one. Yep, so what you can see, they've done it twice. Okay, well there's the questions there. So if I save and open this is their questions. Okay, so what you've got is one activity, they've got two, and so forth. And then also there's a document as well attached to it, which they've attached a document to show additional work. So it's probably just a test. There you go. So I'd expect to see a lot more in there, obviously. But say you didn't think that was suitable for this unit, what you would then do is click return. So the same box appears up, assessment feedback comes up again, but this time it's returned. Now these feedback notes then will go directly back to the learner. Please redo question 4. Save. So same rules apply, but this time the learner goes task. So the status thing goes task reviewed and returned back to the learner, and they would get then your feedback as well. Okay, just to prove it to you in the contact diary now, what you can see is both so that one has been accepted, this one has been returned. Okay, and then if I go back to my home page, that was used to be 4, now it's 2, because obviously I've assessed both. I've gone in and I've given feedback. One I've accepted, one I've returned. And as long as you keep on working through here, that will always give the feedback to the learner and sign off the tasks or return them back to them as and when. Okay, so that's how to use the system. Hopefully that's clear. It's not obviously it's not too difficult, hopefully. Now I know you've got slightly different qualifications, but in my demo site, obviously I'll show you. But what we'll do is we'll do a question and answer session next Wednesday. So if you've got any specific questions, please let me know. I will email this video out to you via YouTube. So what I'll do is if you've got any specific questions between now and next Wednesday, don't be afraid, drop me an email and we can go through them. But if not, I'll wait till Wednesday and we'll do it as a group. Okay then. So thank you very much for today, and apologies again for my internet not quite working earlier. But again, we'll catch up next Wednesday if there's any problems. Okay then. Thanks very much. Bye.